All right. I wanted to do a quick Replens 101. And the reason I put quick is because I know that there are some, a lot of webinars right now that Legends has been doing that have been excellent, that are going deep into replenishable products. And so for anybody that missed it, here's kind of a quick highlight. Replenishable products could be anything bought over and over. So it doesn't have to be something like toothpaste that is replenishable to everybody. It's just something that you can buy over and over and sell consistently. So whether that's something, some sports equipment, it doesn't have to be a replenishable product that you buy. It's just something that other people are buying constantly. Okay. Wholesale accounts, private label, bundles, RA or OA are all replenishables in my opinion. This presentation is going to focus only on RA and OA. And then lastly, Keepa will be your best friend. That is the #1 tool that's made a huge difference in our business, just to buying the right products and making sure that they sell consistently at the prices we want. And that's kind of, I just want everybody to know, Keepa, master it, learn it, just get to know it as best as you can. Watch Kate's webinars that she's done on it. She goes very in depth into that. And I'm happy to answer any questions on Keepa as well. So how I source. So I want everybody to kind of know this. First off, I'm not always successful. Brittany and I are not always successful when we go out to find new Replens. I've spent 3 or 4 hours in stores before and come away with nothing. But I do want everybody to know this as well, is that it'll feel like a failure, like you wasted 3 or 4 hours of your time in that section trying to find new things, but it's not. You're really learning a lot about what sells. You're learning a lot about a lot of different things in that time if you come away with nothing. And that's okay. You're going to learn what categories sell, what categories don't sell well. Maybe it's a section of a store that you just don't like, or, you don't know much about. You're going to learn more about that. One thing that I also have learned, maybe it sells a lot, but it's not profitable to do RA and OA. Well, why don't you take that, it sells a lot, and go and look at private label or bundles and do something on your own, because you know that the velocity's there. You just can't find it in store to flip it. Keep that in mind. Look at the types of products that are doing well and the types of products that aren't. You'll know that this type of light bulb doesn't do well. Or this type of,
While you're taking a drink there, I follow a guy that was a friend of mine. He was also in the Q4 group. He posted on Instagram. He said, when you're out doing retail arbitrage, notice the holes on the shelves. Like when there's a place where there's no inventory. He says that could mean that's a really hot selling item that's hard for them to keep in stock. I just thought that was a really good thing. It could be a replen, guys, but just look at the holes. You see a hole where there's not inventory there, and there should be. Like, take note of that.
Yeah, that was Carl, I think, said that on his webinar. And if you're in Walmart, you can use the Walmart app and find it online. So if those holes are there, you can scan the little tag that's below where the product would be, and you can find it online. So you're going to learn a lot in these times when you fail and when you succeed in these replens. You'll learn where not to source. Now you know that section isn't a section to go back to because it just doesn't resonate with how you like to source. There are sections that I've gone to that I've spent hours in and didn't find anything, but I know people have replens there. I've heard them talk about automotive or sports and outdoors or something. All of these sections within different stores do well. Some of them maybe not as well as others, but for me, it didn't resonate, and I couldn't find anything. You're going to learn that. And you're also going to learn whenever you decide to get shoppers, where not to send them. Unless, you want them to try because they have a different experience with it. They love cars, so you send them to automotive. For me, maybe it was grocery didn't do too well, or health and personal care didn't do too well, but that your shoppers shouldn't waste their time there either. So you will be learning, and you will get better over time. So that's very important to keep in mind, especially if you're new and you're trying to go out and find your first replens or your first 5 or 10, whatever it is. You're going to get better and improve over time. So keep that in mind. Now, the basics of how I source, and it actually goes back to the very basics of how I learned, and Brittany and I learned when we started with Legends. So the very first webinars that Danny did, I still do the same exact things. and it still works very well.
Mm-hmm.
So here's all of the apps that I have used. Legendary Sourcing is awesome. I have not used that one as much as I would have liked because Q4 was here. It's one of my goals for 2019 is to get better with it. The two most important, in my opinion, are Keepa and either the Seller app or Legendary Sourcing. Okay. I have Scoutify up there because that's how I currently make my buy lists for uploading into Inventory Lab, but Legendary Sourcing does the same exact thing. And I will be using that more as we go along into the new year. But that's all that you need. There's a bunch of apps out there that exist that you can go pay for. You can do all these things, but it's not necessary. You're in Legends, so you get the best sourcing app for free, which is Legendary Sourcing. And other than that, you've got the Seller app and Keepa, and that's all that you need to be successful. Okay. The first thing that I'm going to say is do not scan UPC codes if you're looking for replenishable products. That is just my model. If I'm out just looking for clearance or trying to do something really quick, I'll scan products. But if I'm looking for replens, I don't do that because I think that can be it can be discouraging. If it doesn't pull it up, then I just my brain wants me to continue to move along. Oh, there's nothing there, keep moving. Whereas if I just have in my mind that I'm going to be typing every product in that I see, then that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to find something a lot more than I would if I was just scanning.
Guys, this is just the basic theory of reverse sourcing that Danny teaches, of just starting with the type in method. And you can scan the pictures, and Jimmy has done that before and does that with the Amazon Seller app. But we're talking about not scanning UPC codes, doing what other sellers don't do. Go the extra mile and type it in.
Exactly. And if things don't come in or come up whenever I type it, I will scan a picture of it. But that is, again, for replenishables. I will scan UPC codes if I'm trying to go fast and I don't care about replens at the time. But you will find a lot more reverse sourcing if you take the time to do it. Okay. So the way that I go about any store to find a replen is I will pick one aisle and I will stick with that aisle until I'm done with it.
Okay, Jimmy, a lot of people overthink this one immediately right now. So I'm walking into Walmart. Well, which one? Which one do I pick?
Yeah, that's very good. That's a good problem to have because that means you've got a lot of opportunity, like everybody. I just pick one that I'm most comfortable with.
Okay.
If it's grocery, if you know a lot, you like grocery products or you buy your groceries at Walmart, pick grocery. If you love automotive products, and you know a lot about the ins and outs of it, go pick automotive. Whatever it might be, just pick an aisle. Right. I pick a section, and I pick the first aisle in that section, and then I work my way down each aisle until that section's done, and that takes me days and weeks to finish a section.
That's awesome. Guys, skip the produce and the frozen foods, though.
Yes. Yeah, please don't do that. Unless you're buying your own groceries.
That's right.
Yeah. And maybe it's not for picking an aisle. Maybe it's just do your pantry really, at home if you can't get out. But there's plenty of stuff around the house. Just stick with one thing and finish the whole thing until you're done with it. That is very important. What I also do after I pick that aisle, I will type everything, literally everything in that aisle that I see. A lot of times, whenever I'm trying to find replens, it can be anywhere from 30 minutes in an aisle to 4 hours in an aisle, which seems like a lot, I feel like, whenever I think about it. But 30 minutes means I'm not finding too much, and 4 hours means I'm finding like 10 to 12 an hour, replens an hour to test. Okay. And I've done it as recently as last week, where I've spent 4 hours total in an aisle. And if you leave after an hour, come back and start in the same exact spot the next day.
So when you okay, let me ask you this. I was just thinking a question. Like you find a lot at Walmart. Are you going back to Walmart and doing aisles, or do you feel like you've got Walmart covered and found all that you can find?
No, we're still doing Walmart.
Wow.
We're still finishing Walmart. So,
oh, my goodness.
Yeah, we've done probably half the store for replens, I would think, but we find a lot. now. And we're at the point too where our, we've got employees, so we need to have more to prep. So, maybe I'm not following all of the rank guidelines like I used to. I'm following more of Keepa, and things are selling a little bit slower, but they're still replens and they're still selling, a few times a month. But they add up, right? And so that's kind of where we're at, and that's why it takes longer. So as you grow your replens, you're also going to, grow your cash flow. And so you're going to want to spend more money. And the way to spend more money is to buy more things, even if it's a slower seller. So that's kind of where we're at with Walmart. So yeah, I type everything in the aisle. And it's daunting at first. Whenever I start an aisle, I don't want to start that aisle. But you do it and you find a replen, and you just keep adding more replens to your cart to test. Okay. After you're done with that aisle, go to the next aisle. It sounds very basic, but whenever I was first sourcing, I would try an aisle. I'd be like, it was okay. And I'd go to a different section of the store, or I'd go to a different store altogether. There are replens at almost every store, I would suggest, out there. And if you go slow enough and you go aisle by aisle, you will find them over time. So I put this here, how would you search for this item, and type that. The reason that I did that, I know in the Replen webinars, a lot of them that I've seen anyway, they say, well, how would buyers search for it, not how would sellers search for it? And I agree with that, but me mentally, that kind of messed me up. And whenever I tried to start sourcing, because I was thinking, how would somebody else try to find this product? How would a buyer try to find it? Versus how would I try to find it if I was looking for it online? I mean, it's a weird mental switch for me, but that was something that actually helped, is how would I find, this water bottle, this Rubbermaid water bottle that I have, how would I find that? And I would type it in, Rubbermaid blue plastic water bottle. That's probably how I would try to find it. So that's how I would search for it. So try and keep it basic. Don't try to confuse yourself with how would somebody else look for it. I get the point of you don't want to be a seller trying to add in keywords that aren't necessary. So that's why I try to think, how would I try to search for it on Amazon if I was looking for it to buy? So just something mentally for me that always messed me up. So starting generally, brand name and item type. Whenever I'm looking at any products in an aisle, I just start with that. And so in this case, I picked toothpaste, Pepsodent Toothpaste. So if you're looking at a whole bunch of toothpaste in an aisle, I would start with Pepsodent, which is right in front of me. I'll go Pepsodent and then toothpaste and see what pulls up. The great thing about that is you'll see the top sellers for Pepsodent toothpaste, whether it's cinnamon or original, or it's the mini travel size, or it's the large pack. You'll see those main first search results come up, and you can start with the most profitable and the fastest selling ones and go find them yourself, right? You don't always have to type in every flavor of a toothpaste.
How do you know real quickly if it's profitable? Are you just looking at the price and be like, oh my gosh, that's $6 and it looks like most of the toothpaste here are 50 cents. Does that kind of clue you in? It just seems like an inflated price.
Yeah, absolutely. That's pretty much how it is. I try to look at a lot of them. I'll look at some ranks. If it's a million rank, I'll probably pass on looking at that. But you can also see if Pepsodent toothpaste is on there, right? I mean, maybe you type it in and there's nothing. Well, then there you go. Typing in the flavors of toothpaste won't matter because nothing pulled up for just the generic brand name and item type. And so that's kind of how I do it. And then with profit, you can kind of eyeball it at first. And if it looks close, then I check it. I click into the app to see if it's profitable. I know with Legendary's sourcing app, it comes up with the pricing, I believe, whenever you scan it or you type in the information. So there for you. That makes it easier. But yeah. And then after that, I'll type in words like bundle or set or variety or even pack. So I'm sure that a lot of other webinars have had that on there. This is something that helps a ton because maybe somebody wants a variety pack of Pepsodent toothpaste that has 3 different flavors, that's out there. Maybe it's a bundle of a toothbrush and the toothpaste with it. So those will help.
So you literally type in Pepsodent toothpaste bundle, Pepsodent toothpaste set,
Yep.
Pepsodent Toothpaste Variety, and Pepsodent Toothpaste Pack.
Yep. That's exactly what because some people will put, it's a variety pack, or they'll put Pepsodent Toothpaste pack of 2, pack of 3, Pepsodent Toothpaste bundle if it's bundled with a toothbrush. So those are kind of how I look for it. And those are keywords, so that's why I don't try to focus on it too much. I mean, Pepsodent Toothpaste is the main way. If I was looking for it on Amazon to buy it, that's what I would probably search. Maybe if I had a flavor, I'd add that, Pepsodent Toothpaste Cinnamon. But then those other words are seller words, but those seller words are important as well. But stick with how you would try to find it if you were going to buy it. Okay. Then after that, so this is all just one product basically. Then I get specific and I'll add Pepsodent Toothpaste Original 5.5 ounces. And usually Amazon, at least in their seller app, it will have those keywords pop up and I'll just click it. If I'm typing in Pepsodent Toothpaste Original, it'll pop up with the 5.5 ounces to click. And so I'll get specific on things. Mainly the specific ones are going to come in like grocery and the health and beauty aisles. At least that's what I've found, because a lot of times like in home and kitchen, there isn't specific sizes unless it's like a water bottle or something like that. So go slow. That is the, and by slow, I mean like almost awkwardly slow. Like I've been in an aisle where somebody passes by with an empty cart and I see them leave with a full cart and I'm still in the same place. So go that slow because it will make a difference. As much as it can be painful at times, you will find a lot more. And so just being patient, being consistent, and going slow will help a lot.
Cool. That brings up a quick question that Greg Perry has. He says he's been in smaller stores like the neighborhood Walgreens, for example. There may just be 4 employees and him in the store, and he's in an aisle for a really long time, scanning item after item, and he gets a little self-conscious. Does that bother you? Do you worry about them thinking, what in the world is this guy doing?
I mean, I know that I get those thoughts. Absolutely. Those thoughts I think enter into everybody's head, especially if either you're first doing it or even a long time, whether it's Walmart or Walgreens or wherever. Yeah, those thoughts come into play. And that's just a part of, trying to find Replens. Is it worth it? To me, it's worth it. But I've always had to do things like that. In college, I had to knock on homeowners' doors to try and sell them house paintings. So, I mean, it's always been things like that. I mean, the harder that something is, the more rewarding it can be.
That's right.
So I think in a case like Walgreens, Walgreens, Walmart, wherever, you just have to push through it, unfortunately. And Greg's funny enough, he can talk to those employees. They'll love him. So,
that's right. Exactly.
But yeah, that's definitely something that comes into play. So just, it just takes a little bit to get used to it. But you will. So.
Yep, that's right.
Check Keepa. So once I find a product, I see it's profitable, and if it meets my rank guidelines or whatever, I will check Keepa. I check Keepa even if it doesn't meet my rank guidelines, if it shows it's profitable, just because maybe it sells 4 times a month or 5 times a month, whatever it is, and I can send it in and be the only FBA seller or one of 2 FBA sellers on there, because the slower product moves, the less there will be sellers. This Keepa chart isn't the best example of a Keepa chart, by the way, because Amazon's on it and they move their price a lot, but you can see this is what it looks like. So if you have any questions on Keepa, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, see Kate's videos.